$250,000. That's what my music degree cost me. Was it worth it? Did I really need it to succeed in music? In this video, I'll be discussing the pros and cons of a music degree. And for reference, I'm a former major label recording artist, a 10-time author, and also a university professor. So if you're interested in honest advice about your career, be sure to like and subscribe and hang out till the end where I'll be giving away some nice giveaways. But first, let me take you back to when I first started playing music myself. I was 4 years old and got interested in playing the drum. By age 6, I was taking lessons, and by age 12, I was probably practicing about 5 to 6 hours a day. By age 16, I was up to probably 8 hours a day, and I started studying with a guy in New York City called Kenwood Denard, who actually recommended that I go to a school called Berklee College of Music in Boston. Now, when I went to Boston, I can tell you that I was not sure that I should have been there. Sure, my teacher actually recommended that I go, but I was thinking, wait a minute, if I was on the road getting experience, or if I was just practicing 20 hours a day, would I be better off than going to school where they're telling you very specific things that you need to practice? And of course, I also have to get general academics as well. So I really was going through a time of my life there trying to decide if I was on the right course. But I stuck with it, and as it turns out, I ended up doing both. I was going to school, I was practicing a lot of hours, and I was gigging all over Boston. I was in cover bands, I was playing drum corps, I was teaching my own lessons, I was in my original band, I was doing sessions with Bostonians and also with Berklee students, and this built up a really amazing network so that when I graduated, I knew people all around the world that were my friends and were, entering into the music industry. And lo and behold, 2 of my friends moved to New York City, and all of a sudden I got a call from them to go to New York City and do a session at Electric Ladyland Studios for Chrysalis Records, which led to me joining a band that was signed to Atlantic Records, which actually then got me into something else, which then got me into something else, and so on and so forth. So going to school actually worked out for me, but I want to go ahead and highlight some of the pros and cons for you really, really quickly, okay? So let's go ahead and do this. Number 1, when you're at a big school, right? You're among many, many, many different musicians. You are building up a very, very serious network. And all of those people that you are getting to know are going to go out in the world, and they're going to start performing, and they're going to start playing. And these potentially can be references for gigs to come, right? And not only just the students, of course, the teachers as well. So you're building up a really, really strong network, okay? Number 2. When you're going to a school, like a big music school, like I did, Berklee College of Music, for example, or there's also Thornton School of Music, USC, there's Juilliard, there's a bunch of music schools across the country, right? You are among all types of musicians, classical, jazz musicians, rock musicians, pop musicians, right? So you're among a really, really diverse group of musicians where you're learning different styles in your music, you're learning different genres, and you're developing maybe your own style with all of these different influences that you might not have been around if you just stayed in your sort of corner of the world and you didn't, let's just say, go to music school. So the diversity is also a very, very big attribute as well. Number 3, also when you think about it, when you're going to a music school, right? You have to get up every morning, you have to get the classes, you have to do assigned work, you have to really become a master of time management. And time management and being able to organize, tasks throughout the day is an extremely important attribute of being a professional musician. In fact, when I was on the road, after graduating from school, I used to always wonder, why do I seem like I have my stuff more together than other people? And I was the only college graduate, and I was like, you know what? I can manage my time. I can manage tasks. Right? So go figure. Number 4, also the general education that's involved in a music degree is also very, very important, because don't forget, you have to pitch yourself. You have to sell yourself as a professional musician, and knowing how to write, knowing how to speak, knowing how to articulate and present is also very, very important as well. And that might be something that you might miss out on if you didn't go to school. Okay. Number 5, keep in mind a lot of big music schools are in big cities, or maybe bigger cities than you currently are hanging out. And it gives you an opportunity to acclimate to this city life, right? So for example, if you were to just to like move to Los Angeles for example, and get an apartment and try to market yourself that way, right? It would be a whole different thing than if you came out to Los Angeles and you went to USC Thornton School of Music, for example, and you had a chance to acclimate yourself to the city. You're sort of in the comfort of the school, but at the same time, you are acclimating to the big city life as well. So that's another really, really huge advantage as well. Number 6, when you're going to a big school, right? Keep in mind that you are building your brand, right? And when you graduate and people can say, oh, that guy's a Berklee guy, or oh, that guy's a Thornton School of Music guy, or that guy's a Juilliard guy, for example, that already has a huge brand, right? So people are always automatically going to make assumptions about you. They're going to say, oh man, that person must play. They dedicated their time and money to go to a school like this. And these schools have already produced really, really big people. So that could be another big plus as well. And then of course, number 7, the fallback. When you have a college degree, it gives you some substance, right? So later on in life, it provides more opportunity for decision making. So take myself, for example, I was a professional musician. I went out there, I worked a lot. I made records, I toured, was on the tour buses, had all the endorsements, had all the fun. But later on in life, being out on the road all the time did not become as desirable for me anymore. So having other skills and other opportunities, I was able to leverage my degree from school and get a master's degree, and then go on to do a doctorate degree, and teach at major universities and write and author books and things like that. Now, I don't want you guys, to think falling back is meaning quitting, but it just, giving yourself options is very, very important. Okay. Now let's talk about the cons a little bit. All right. So number 1, to go to school, it can cost a lot of money. It cost me $250,000 to go to Berklee College of Music. That's $250,000. What else could you do with $250,000? Well, certainly you could take that money and you can invest it in making your own record and promoting your own record, and even going out on tour and giving you a full-blown shot, right? And just using the money that way. So if you're thinking about music school, you really, really better think about this very, very carefully, right? All right, number 2 would be the time. People might think that, being, in school for 4 years and sometimes even 5 years, is, well, wow, I could have been on the road getting a lot of experience at that time, right? So as opposed to being 18 and just going out and playing, or being 22 and then start going out and play, could make a big difference, and a lot of people will say, school's always there. You can always go out on the road and come back and go to school. And that's certainly a valid point as well. So that's maybe one of the cons, is the time that's involved as well. And then number 3 also can be, perception is very, very important. And, when you say that you're a Berklee grad or Juilliard grad, or, people might automatically have this idea that you're like a factory musician. You've been put through the factory, and you play like everybody else, and you're very in your brain, and maybe you don't have as much feel, and you're thinking very theoretically and things of that nature. And, certainly you're getting all that kind of training, and a lot of people might be too in their head than just playing with a feel or just playing from their heart. So that's a valid point as well. However, there's lots of amazing musicians, of course, that have gone to major schools like this and are incredible players. So in conclusion, I think you guys can guess that I'm an advocate for education. If you want to know more about this topic, in the comments section, say PDF. And what I'll do is I'll contact you and I'll send you a PDF from my book, Business Basics for Musicians, of the chapter Pursuing a Career in the Music Industry, which is very, very important. In this next video, be sure to hang out, because I'm going to talk about whether or not getting a music business or a music industry degree is worth it. My name is Bobby Borg, helping musicians turn their art into more successful business. Peace, love, and later. $250,000 is what it cost me to get a music degree. Was it worth it? Absolutely.